Hi guys, this is Raquel with part 2 of the Mermaid Pop Up card series with Paintsandglitter.com using Cricut Design Space. I'm going to try to go over everything on this video so that I can finish it. So in the previous video I showed you how to add your pop-up element to the seashell bottom or base of the card. In this video I'm going to show you how to add the text, and basically you highlight your shape and you have on your left hand side the text feature or element there. You can click on that, and then here I'm going to type the word, let's see here, it's my birthday. Okay, and by default this will go to 72 as the font size, but I'm going to decrease that to 15 on that top bar there. And I've selected Birthday Bash, but this does have a menu where you can select whichever font you'd like to use. My suggestion is that when you filter it, which you can do on the right hand side, and you probably can't see that clearly on the screen there, but here you can filter either your fonts, multi-layer, single layer, or writing. Do not use the writing fonts, because if you want to print it and you select writing font, it will not print, okay? So you can change that to what you have on your system, what you have through Cricut, or all of them. I selected Birthday Bash, which is why it's highlighted there. And then what my suggestion is that once you do this, okay, what you want to make sure you never do is that you type it all out at once and then think that you're going to be able to manipulate your text and then have it be done with, because Cricut is not that type of program. So don't give yourself that headache. Just go ahead and do the header. Go ahead and press, let's see here. You can, I'm going to go ahead and enter that, and just click enter, and then I'm going to do text again, and this is going to be number 1, and I'm going to leave that one. Let's see here, that defaulted to Cricut Sans here, so I'm going to change that again to Birthday Bash. And if I search fonts there on the and click B for birthday, it should allow me to. Actually, it didn't default, and I don't know why it just did that, because usually it keeps it at whatever you were using last. But let's see, this changes on a daily basis, so okay, so back to Birthday Bash. I'm gonna go ahead and use that again. Alright, so there's my number 1, and I'm gonna keep this simple, so I'm not gonna add a lot of detail. My suggestion also is that if you are going to do this with this card, that any other images that you have as print and cut, that you do them separately. So for instance, I flattened all of the images, like the Little Mermaid, which this is going to be part of the file, just so you know, because I realize a lot of people don't have the Disney cartridges. So you can just highlight the image, click flatten, and then it'll automatically be a print and cut image. But for this, if you're adding it here so that you don't overwhelm your system, basically, you can go ahead now and select your images that you're adding to print and cut on that base, and on the right hand side layer menu, you can then change that. Say I want to make that pink. See how that changed my number 1 to pink, but now I want to make sure that I change that also, since by default it was a cut file. I want to change that to print, and what you're going to see is that the outline of this now changed. You no longer see that black outline, and it's automatically flattened down here. So that's one way to go about it. I'm going to highlight this as well, and I'm going to change that, since I like the placement of it. I'm going to change that also over here to print, and it's all, the good thing is now with Design Space 3 is that it's all together instead of having to do it separately. So I could change it, say, to lavender there if I want that. So I've manipulated my text by placing it where I want it here, and you could be much more precise by highlighting your text and then going here and changing, say, the line spacing. You can make this smaller and make your letters be closer together if you want, which, let's see, you probably can't tell there, but you can align the letters center to your shape. You can, you know, also here, for instance, if you wanted to ungroup all of your letters and use them individually to move them around, you can do that there. So basically, when you have your letters or your phrases where you want them, what you want to make sure is that you have them, see how the background is still moving? That you have them where you want them on your shape, the way you want them to look, and that you've done it in groups. For instance, the header, the standout shape or number that you want, all of them in groups, not all at once. And then you want to highlight all of it by, whoops, and see how I move that? That's what you don't want. Okay, so you're going to highlight all of it together. Say I like it right about there. I think that looks good. And you can do press the shift button on your keyboard and highlight all of it. Make sure it's all highlighted. The way to verify this is to look at that layer menu and see it all in that light gray. And now you want to make sure you click on that bottom side there, attach. Okay, that's going to make sure that those elements are attached to your shape. The shape is still going to cut, but it's now going to prompt your printer to print what you asked it to add in terms of font. It's going to go through your printer, and then you're going to place that piece of paper on your mat, feed it through your Cricut, and the Cricut will tell you which step to follow. So for instance, if I click Make It, this is probably going to be a really big file because I have all of the background shapes right now as flattened shapes, and I'll show you why. But see how that's taking a long time? That's because of the fact that that I had so much there to print. But if you see here, this is what I want to show you. This one says cut, score, print. You can definitely do that all on one image in Cricut Design Space, which is the best thing ever. So you see the mat here, it's going to cut the outline of the seashell. It's going to print then, and all these other little cut lines. It's going to print all of these other ones. And the reason this said RSVP here, that's because I had already typed that to check it out and see if, you know, if it would print. So you can just delete that, or I'll delete it from the file actually. But in any case, then it's going to print whatever you wanted on your invitation. And then once you have it all cut out, then you can assemble it. So